So good morning, everyone. We are going to start with our unit 3, that is our chapter 6. So your chapter 6 is prototyping the physical design. So initially we have already seen in our previous chapter, that is our chapter number 4 was thinking about prototyping, wherein you have understood what do you mean by prototyping, how the prototyping takes place. Then we had the next chapter, prototyping your embedded devices. So there we have studied that what do you mean by prototyping with respect to your embedded devices. Okay. Now we are coming up with the next chapter which says prototyping the physical design. So whenever you are starting with the prototyping, when you are going for the physical design, how you will design the physical design of your device. Okay. Like if I talk about IoT, and with respect to IoT, when we talk about physical design, we are going to deal with the off-shelf components like your breadboards, your microcontrollers, your sensors, your actuators, and we are going to combine them together and come up with the physical design. But when we talk about apart from IoT, if you're just dealing with the physical design, where you want to just design your structure of your uh, external, you can say prototype. So what are the different ways? Okay. So here we are going to see the topics like what do you mean by preparation? What is sketching? What is iterate? What do you mean by explore? Non-digital methods, which is very much important from exam point of view. Laser cutting, again important from exam point of view. Choosing a laser cutter. What are the softwares which are used for laser cutting? Hinges and joints, 3D printing, types of 3D printing, important question again. What are the softwares which are used for 3D printing? CNC milling. And the last topic is repurposing and recycling. So basically here you are going to see that whenever you are thinking of a physical design, what are the different ways or different methods to go for a physical design. Basically it is categorized into non-digital methods, and the other are the methods which are directly used for designing your physical designs and make cutting them into it. Okay, so we'll go much in detail in each of them. So first is, what do you mean by prototyping the physical design? So when I talk about prototyping, everybody of us have known what is it now very much well, that when I talk about prototype, that is nothing but making a small working model of your actual system. So when I talk about IoT prototyping, we have to have a breadboard with us. We need to have a sensors. We need to have actuators. We need to have a microcontrollers, and all those we are going to come up with one design. Okay. But if I'm going from other aspect, like if I'm thinking of making a design, physical design, a physical structure. Okay. So what are the different ways? There are many non-digital methods which are used, which will help you to design, or you can make a physical structure. Okay. So initially when we talk about physical design, it requires that you should have a very good ground study, what you actually want. All your ideas has to be there into your mind. Then only you can come up with physical design, because this is the design which is going to be acceptable by the people. This is the one which will be known by the people, and they are going to use your product. So your physical design has to be very, very much good. So you have to take a very good care that what will be your physical design. Okay, so what are the steps in prototyping the physical design? Let us see. The very first is your preparation. Okay, so the word itself tells its meaning. When I talk about preparation, it refers that you should prepare, or you should have a good ideas about what designing you need to have, how your design will look like, what are the components which you are going to use, how will it be. Okay, so when we think about designing, or when we think about the preparation, you should not just sit once in a while and start preparing it. You should look for other options as well. So you can surf your internet, you can look for different ideas which will match your taste, like whatever you want to design. There's obvious that something there will be already existing of that type, so you can start referring them. Okay, so that will give you a more idea that how my design can be, how I can make it look more better, how can I attract more people to it. So you have to start looking for the options. You should not just think for one design and start working for it. You should see the other option. You should try to explore more. You should try to take some feedback from the people. You should ask people what my design has to be. I have thought for this, whether it is good or not, or I should go for something else. So your preparation step basically needs, like, you have to take some photos if you want. You can jot down your ideas. Okay, you can sketch them. If possible, then you can even use your old scrapbooks and start using them for preparation. So this all your initial steps. So whenever you start your designing, the very first step is you're preparing for your design. So that involves your ideas to be noted down somewhere so that you can accordingly work sequentially with your ideas and perform the step one correctly. Let's move to the next. Next is your sketch, iterate, and explore. One of the easiest thing to get your ideas in place is to sketch them. We usually fail to do that. We usually go for writing down because we feel that writing will be much easier because everybody is not good at sketching. So sketching is something which is not done by every one of us. But initially, when I suggest, like whenever you are designing your external interface, you can start with sketching. Okay, for us, the sketching can be a user interface, whatever module is going to be there, what color we are going to use, how the model will have a design interface. So that can be your sketching. Apart from that, when I talk about IoT, here your sketching will not have something much to do about because you already have our off-shelf components in place, which comes with the standard size, which comes with the standard structure. But the sketching here can be in terms of your user interfaces, how you want your GUI, how you want them to be appear, how the dialog box will be there, what will be the font style, color. So that can come out with the sketching. So whenever you are sketching, you have to make sure that you have all your ideas in the paper so that whenever you are referring them, you can iterate them. Iterate refers to what? You will make more changes to it. Okay, you will try to have some more designing, like if you're designing a user interface. So just at once you will not be satisfied, yeah, this is what I wanted. You will do some more sketches, and finally you're doing some repeated sketches, and you will come up to one sketch wherein you will feel that, yeah, this is the one which I wanted. Next is explore. So when I talk about explore, that refers to that you have to explore to different ideas as well. You have to explore other mediums, start referring online websites, start referring some YouTube videos, some magazines you can have a refer to it so that you can explore more your ideas, because initially you will be not having much idea of what you are designing. But if you study more, if you explore more, if you see more options, you will get more ideas. So that is the reason it is a sketch, it is iterate, and it is explore. Sketching will be your very initial step where you will just simply write your ideas or draw your ideas as per your requirement. Then you will do some more changes into it, you will do some iteration, and finally you will come up with a final sketch which you think that, yeah, this is what I wanted. And finally, once you are in place, you will try to explore them. You're going to see all other options, you're going to see what is already existing. Okay, so that your a sketch which you have finalized can have more exploration over it, will have more additions to it, and that will come up with a good perfect design. So there is one quote which Stephen Hay has come up with where he is saying that we are not designing pages, but we are designing system of components. So when I talk about IoT designing, we are not designing simply pages. Okay, we are not designing only the software. We are designing the hardware as well. That is nothing but the system of components. So whenever you are doing this step, you have to integrate your hardware and you have to integrate your software, and then you have to come up with the one system. So that is your system of components, which will have your hardware, it will have your software as well. So we are not just designing pages, because you are not simply making a website. You are doing a complete system, a system which will be used by someone, a system which will be acceptable by someone. So this is a complete system. So that is your step number 2. That is your sketch, iterate, and explore. So initially we will have 2 steps only. The first step will be your preparation, okay, and the second step will be your sketch, iterate, and explore. So whenever you are thinking of a prototyping, you have to first start with these 2 things. In every chapter we have seen that these 2 things are there. Sketching is common. They have added one more aspect here, that is your preparation. So preparation is important. Once preparation is in place, you know what you want to do, start drawing them, start iterating them, and explore them with the different options which are available with you. Okay, next is your goodnight lamp case study, which you all have to do it. So next lecture I'll be asking for it, so kindly note down the goodnight lamp case study. Next is very much important, that is your non-digital methods. So when we know that whenever we are designing, okay, we need to have a physical design available with me. So to make the physical design, there are many options which are available. Okay, so here which we are talking about, the non-digital methods will not help you to have the physical designs of your IoT. But for making the physical design, whenever you want to make any physical design, you want to see, like we used to initially in school days, or initially when we used to be in childhood, we used to draw the physical design with different material, like your clays, your you can say your lingo kit. So this were all there. So here which we are talking about non-digital methods, these are the different options which are available to go for your physical design. That is why it is called as non-digital methods. It cannot be used with the digital ones. So whenever you want to have a physical design, when you want to make any structure, exterior structure, you can say, so with non-digital methods, there are different crafting techniques which are available, because you're going to craft something, you're going to design something, and you're going to come with this a model, a small model, which will tell you the how your design is going to look like. In IoT, we don't come up with this non-digital methods. We are directly working over the breadboards or product boards, but they have come up with this methods because they want to tell you that what are the other options available as well in non-digital methods if you want to design your external devices. Okay, your external model, you can say. So the first is your modeling clay. So in the diagram, you can see there is a small clays and the structures are being created using that clays. So modeling clay comes in many forms, like it is like includes your polymer, and it is also has your self-hardening product. So it is basically used for small fun projects. If you want to make a house, you want to make an elephant, you want to make a, you can say monkey or anything, you can just easily build your using the clays. And these clays are very you can say soft. You have to just press them with your hands and you can come up with your shape. So there are different colors of clays available, and using that clays you can come up with a small design. So it is always used for making different projects, like it can be making your dishes, it can be make animals, you can make jewelry, you can make even other crafts using this clay, because it is something which is easily moldable type. So you can make any shape and you can come up with any structure. Even you can use this clay by baking it into the ovens. You can just let them dry, and once they are dried, you can see your model which you have designed or whatever you have made with the help of the clay. So when I talk about clay, the company which is making this clay, the most common company is Play-Doh. Play-Doh is the company which is using this clay, and the Plasticine is the company. These are the two companies which are coming up with this option, that is modeling clay. So the first method which we have seen here in your non-digital method is modeling clay. So whenever you are using a clay as a material to design anything, okay, it can be a model, it can be anything, whatever you want to design, then you can use a modeling clay. Let us move to the next. What is next? Next is your epoxy putty. So when I talk about epoxy putty, this is nothing but your something which works over your room temperature, and this something which gets used for filling, space filling. Whenever you want to fill your you can say walls, or whenever you want to fill your anything that use as your additives. Okay, so it is just like your glues, okay, which helps you to fill the gaps. So this is mostly is very tough material, and it is very durable, and it automatically hardens very fast on the room temperature. So as soon as you keep it open and keep it for some time, it gets self hardened. So that is a problem with the epoxy putty. It is same like modeling clay, but it comes with less colors. It doesn't gives you much options. So it comes with two things. The first is your hardener, and the second is something, a liquid which you have to mix to make your uh, putty, or you can say ready for hardening or for filling the spaces. So the company which is working well here is your Milliput. This is the one company which actually helps you to do this. Okay. So this is the second one. The first was your modeling clay. Second was your Milliput. Okay. This is also just like a clay, but it self-hardening product. It actually gets hardened themselves. Third is your Sugro. Okay, it is again a moldable silicone rubber, just like epoxy putty. It also works for very short time, like you can say just for 30 minutes. But the thing is, the best part of this is like it is very much flexible. You can see just in the diagram also, you can see it is so much flexible that once you have put it you have designed the structure, you have designed over the model, you can easily press it and you can easily give it any shape. So this is much flexible. It doesn't get hardens just like epoxy putty. Epoxy is like, as soon as you keep it outside and it is there for a room temperature, it gets hardened very fast. So you cannot reshape it again. But in Sugro, you can reshape it because it is very much fastened, very much flexible, sorry. And it can easily can be molded into any device, any you can say device, just like you can have it over your scissors, you can have it over your dishes, anywhere you want, then you can easily put it there. This substance can be put it because it is just like a soft touch grippy surface, so it very helps you to do it. Okay, so that is your Sugro. That is nothing but a moldable glue. This is a small glues which are there, you can fix anywhere. You can fix over your camera edges, you can fix over your toys, so you can easily fix them. It color comes with different colors, like your green, gray, red, black, and this comes with colors. Next is your toy construction set. So this is one of the toy construction set we must have already known before, because we used to use it in our childhood days. So this was nothing but called as Lego as well. So basically this is one of the most interesting way to design your physical prototype, you can say, wherein you have your this construction set where you have to just push and fit your small, you can say, pieces of your construction sets together. So there are gears, there are hinges, you can just combine together and you can make one movement over it. Usually initially the many hackers used to use this, used to have this because they used to make a Lego, and along with that Lego they used to put some sensors. Okay, and that used to help them to sense the information if there's somebody's want to have some information over the data, or some information has to be sense. So in that case, they used to put small sensor into it, and they can get the information, because these are small construction sets. So if you have a sensors into it, you will not easily come to know, because there is lot of space inside. So you can have the sensors and you can even make a small prototype of it and you can do the work. So this is something which can be a good combination of your ease and flexibility, because it is just like a simple sets that has just you have to put it and you have to come with a structure, you can say. Next is cardboard. So this is one of the most common, you can say, material which is used for designing the physical. We used to use in our school days a cardboard you used to make a model. So this is something a very heavy duty paper product. Okay, there it has a lot of thickness and the durability is also very high. It helps you to have, you can fold it, you can even make a small models out of it. This is very cheap product and you can easily shape, but you need a knife or a scissors to make a proper shaping of it. And this is available almost in all the colors and it is easily available. So whenever you want to have a structural integrity, whenever you want to have a strong model to be built, then you can use as a cardboard. At times you can also sketch over this cardboard and you can cut out the shapes, like whatever shape I want. If I want a star, I want a square, I need to sketch it, and with a knife or the scissor I can just simply cut it off. Okay. Next is your foam core or foam board. So when I talk about foam core or foam board, this is like 2-layer sheets. Okay, it is just like your cardboard. Okay, the foam board here, it has some kind of foam inside your sheets. That is why it is called as foam. It can also be easily cut with the knife. There is not much difference between your foam and hardboard, sorry, cardboard, because they both are used for making some structures. Like whenever you want to have a strong structural integrity, and you have to go for this. It is usually comes with different sizes, 3 mm, 5 mm, other sizes. So you can just simply cut it up. The colors are very good available in your foam core or foam board. Okay, and you can see there are different layers. There are 2 layers. There is a foam layer and there is a layer 1, there is layer 2, and between them there is a foam which is sandwiched into it, or you can say it is there into it. So that is why it is at foam core or foam board. There is a foam inside the board. That is why it is foam core and foam board. Next, last is extruded polystyrene. Okay, so extruded polystyrene is also some like your foam board. Okay, it is just like a thermoplastic, you can say. Using this, there at times some people also use use it as a foam board. Okay, so there is a thermoplastic which is there into it, and it has closed structure. You can see it has a closed structure from all the ends. So you can also simply craft it. You can make models out of it. You need to have a knife, you need to have a scissor to cut it off so that you can come up with the model. So first you have to initially sketch over it, and according as per your sketching, you're going to cut it off and you're going to design the model. So this is basically a thermoplastic, you can say that the material which is used here is thermoplastic, and which is helps you to design the model. So these are your digital methods. We'll go back again and we'll revise. The very first is your modeling clay. So this is one of the most easiest method, and which is very easily available, wherein you're going to use a clays to design your models. These are your self-hardening products. Just you can, with this models, you can design different types or different shapes. Like you can design your animals, you can design dishes, you can design jewelry. So it is a clay material which is very easy for you to give the shape. It is so soft that you can just pull with your palms and you can come up with the shape very easily. So initially, if you don't know much about non-digital methods, the very easy material which you can go for it is the clay, because clay is something very easy to manage, and it is helps you to give the different you can say shape to your model. So the brand which works well with this is your Play-Doh and Plasticine. The important is the brand name which has to be there in your paper. Next is your epoxy putty. So epoxy putty is just nothing but your room temperature hardening substances. They are used for filling. So whenever you want to space fill your, you can say your walls or any type of space filling, if you want to go, then you are going to go for epoxy putty. So it is just like the glue, but this are like something which helps you to fill the gaps, and these are something which are very tough and durable. They are self hardening products. As soon as you leave it on the room temperature, they get hardened themselves. Okay, and once they're hardened, you cannot reshape them well. So you have to make sure that as soon as you open it, you first do whatever you want to do. Okay, so that it doesn't get hardened, you cannot give it the shape them later. Okay, so it comes in two parts. One is the hardener, and second is material which will activate your epoxy putty. So you have to mix this both together, and then you can start applying it over your model, or if you want to have a desired shape, then you can start making the shape over it. Okay, so in just 30 minutes it will be ready to set, because it gets hardened very fast. So it doesn't comes with much color. There are just one or two colors, white and yellow. Next is your Sugro. The third is Sugro. It is you can say a moldable silicone rubber. Just like epoxy putty, it is also gets self hardened with itself. Okay, but it is something, even if it is hardened up, it is something which is very flexible, so you can really make the changes later on as well. So it is very much flexible. Once it is in place, you can also make the changes to it. The problem is not there that with it. It is just like you can say, or you can see as per the diagram, it is a soft touch. You can see you can easily stick to most of the substances whichever you want, and you can start giving them shape. Next is the toy construction set. So this is also something which can be used for designing the model. So this is also called as Lingo sets, wherein you can combine, or you can put all the sets over together by push fit. Okay, and you can come up with the model. You can even have a sensors into it, and you can sense the environment, or you can control with the help of the Lingo set. So this is something which is very easy, very flexible, because you just have to push fit. So it is easy to come up with the model with Lingo set. Next is your cardboard. So when I talk about cardboard, these are your heavy duty papers. Like you know that they come up with great thickness, and the durability is very high because it is very thick. Okay, so whenever you want to cut, you need to have a scissor with you, or you need to have a knife with you. This is something very cheap and easily available, and you can shape them. Okay, only the requirement is that you have to first sketch over it, and whatever you want, then you can sketch it out, or you can cut it out to get the shape. This is actually helpful with the structural integrity is very high, because they are very strong and they are very durable. Next is foam core or foam board. So foam core or foam board is also somewhere like your cardboard only, but only the thing is like there is some foam material which is insulated into your boards. That is why it is called as a foam board. They come up with different sizes, like your 3 mm or 5 mm. There are different sizes. Again, here also you need a scissor or you need a knife whenever you want to cut it off. So first you have to design over it and then you can cut it off. So your model can be prepared by using it. There are many color options available here which is not available in your cardboard. So if you want good color options, then you can go for a foam core or a foam board. Next is your extruded polystyrene. So when I talk about extruded polystyrene, it is something which is made up of your material, that is your thermoplastic. They are colorless. They don't come up with some colors, you can see. They are solid and they are formed in nature. So you even here also you have to design something, then you can cut it off using your knife or scissors. And these are basically used for crafts or modeling any building. If you want to make a model like a building kind of structure, then you can use it. Basically they are used in architectural models. The architectural, those who have to use make small models, first they will use this, they'll design their model here, and then once accepted they'll go with the actual system. So this were your non-digital methods. Okay, next very much important question, that is your laser cutting. So whenever I talk about laser cutting, it is nothing but a non-contact process, okay, wherein you are going to use lasers to cut the materials. So laser cutting, the word itself telling it meaning that you are using a laser to cut the materials. So this is something which will really called as a subtractive process, because you will start with more material, okay, and then you will start cutting whatever you don't need, and something you're going to come up with the one perfect model which you want. So it is always called as subtractive, because you are going to start with some more material and slowly gradually with every laser over it or every laser cutting over it, it is going to subtract. The material is going to get detached or it is going to get lessen up. So when I talk about laser cutting, it is basically, you can say there is a laser beam in the diagram. You can see there is a laser beam, and there is through the nozzle or through the workpiece, you can say your whatever you want you to cut, you have to put into it and they'll start the cutting. So it is always a combination of your heat and pressure, because the cutting action requires this. Okay, heat is nothing but the laser heat, and the pressure is nothing but the material which is immense into it. Along with that pressure, it is going to start cutting. Okay, so the material whatever is there, it melts, it burns, okay, with the gas which is being eliminated by your you can say your lasers. Okay, so when I talk about laser cutting, it comes with different sizes. Okay, they can be big laser machine, they can be small laser machine. So according to the size, the material they are going to use will also keep on changing. So depending on your material which you want to go for laser cutting, you have to decide that what material you have to use, what will be the size of it. Okay, so the laser machine which I have taken here is a machine which is used for cutting the fabric. Okay, the laser machine number is JQ1630. So this is used for cutting your fabric. You can say the cutting any type of fabric. So whenever we talk about laser, there is something called as a bed. So you have to make sure that whatever material you have to cut, you have to first place it over the bed. Okay, so bed is nothing but you can say a flat area that actually helps you to hold your material to be cut. And then this bed has two axis mechanism. Okay, one is a mirror, along with the mirror and lens, that will direct how the laser beam will take place to the correct location. And the second is the materials where it is going to be cut. Okay, so there are two things in your bed. So you can see in the diagram, there is a bed between, a big bed is there. So that is nothing but a laser bed. And along with that, the bed on the downside, there is a space wherein you have to keep your material, and accordingly the material will be cut. Okay, I'll show you the video also of this. So don't worry, as of now, you just understand that what this laser cutting is. So basically laser cutting is a non-contact process. Okay, non-contact, why? Because there is no direct contact with you. There is only the material and the laser which are going to work. So you're not going to have any contact over it. So that is why it is a non-contact. Okay, where you're going to use a laser beams to cut the materials. It is a subtractive process. Why it is subtractive process? Because we are going to start with more material, and at each step we are going to cut off the material which we don't need. That is why it is called as subtractive process. So here the process begins by directing your laser beam through a nozzle. Okay, there is a nozzle there where you, from where the beam will be directed to it. Okay, there will be a combination of heat and pressure, so there will be cutting action. So the material whichever you place over your beds, it will either melt, it will either burn. Okay, because of the beam heat, it is going to happen. So okay, so the laser cutters are of different sizes. Depending on what material you want to cut, you are going to decide that what laser you are going to use. Okay, so most of your laser cutter will come up with the beds. You can see the rectangular area in the between. The bed is nothing but a flat surface where it will help you to hold your material which you want to cut. So there will be two axis mechanism over your bed. One will have your mirrors and lens, which will tell you that how the beam has to be directed, because there is a laser. So the laser beam has to be directed, and the other will nothing but tell you that what material has been cut so far and how it is being generated. Okay. Next, whenever you're choosing a laser cutter, you have to take care of few things. Okay, the very first is the size of the bed. So here you can see there is a bed size. The one which is there is nothing but a bed. Okay, so the size of the bed is nothing but the place wherein you are going to keep the material for cutting. So more larger the bed, the more big you can say materials can be cut. The more smaller the bed, the smaller materials can be cut, but mostly the size of the bed is always big and it is always large. Okay, second, which is very much important, is the power of laser. Okay, power of laser is very much important because you are going to always deal with the materials which will be of steel type. Okay, the material will be of very thick. So depending of whatever you are going to create and what material you are going to cut into your laser cutter, that is very much important. So the laser has to be very much strong enough. The power of the laser has to be very small enough, because we are going to cut different types of material, and which are mostly used in industrial units. Like all your logos and all are nothing but done with the help of laser cutting. There is one example here, which is Grizzly is a company, and the logo of the Grizzly is being cut here. Okay, so there is a still you can say material is there over that you are going to do the laser cutting. So the power of laser is also very much important. The best part of this laser cutting is, like, the material doesn't get twisted or bent. Okay, because the material is being placed over the bed in such a way that they are always stick into it because of the heat. So the material doesn't bend, the material doesn't get twisted. Okay, the best part again is that the material stays flat after the cutting. You can see in the diagram the material is just staying flat over the stain. So this is advantage, like you can exactly and precisely cut with the laser cutter. Okay, since it is flat, it is very easy to cut also, and the accuracy is also high. So with proper measurements, you can cut your you can say material very you can say easily. If the surface is not flat, it becomes very difficult to you to cut. Since the surface is flat, it becomes easy for you to cut the material very easily. Okay, so this was your laser cutter, which is very much important. So let us take a quick revision what we have done today. So the first topic which we have done today was your preparation. So when I talk about preparation, it refers to your initial preparation of your designing. So whenever you want to start designing, first you have to prepare the things. So preparing is nothing but noting down your ideas, whatever things you're going to design, how they are going to look like. Okay, what are the objects you're going to need for designing. So whenever you're starting your designing, you can simply start by taking the photographs, jotting down your ideas, sketching them, whatever you want, whatever you think is important for you as a part of your preparation of designing, all that has to come under the step one. Next is your sketch, iterate, and explore. Once you have done with your preparation step, you know what actually you want to do, then start doing the sketching. For IoT, the sketching is not there, but you can do the sketching of your GUI, your user interfaces. Okay, once you are done with sketches, you need to iterate them. You need to make some changes over it. If you think if it is not of your choice, like if you think no, this is not the ready one, I need to make more changes. However, if you explore more, the iteration step will automatically come into place. So always you have to sketch and explore. Okay, the sketch and explore, if goes well, your iterations will definitely take place. Okay, so according to Stephen Hay, he says it very well, that we are not designing pages, but we are designing the system of components. So we are dealing with designing of entire components. There is nothing but your hardware components and software components. We are not just designing pages. So when you are not just designing pages, you have to make sure that whatever sketching you are doing, whatever exploration you are doing, it is something which is acceptable by the society, because at the end the people are going to use the product. So you have to design as per their needs. Next is a case study. Next is non-digital methods. So when I talk about non-digital methods, these are the methods which are used for making your external structures. Okay, so there are different methods which are used to make your external structures, your external design, you can say. So first is the modeling clay, where the clay material is being used for designing the model. It is something which is very easy. You can easily mold them and you can come up with any shape. Okay, next is your epoxy putty. Epoxy putty is nothing but your, you can say your hardening surfaces which actually gets hardened with room temperature. So as soon as you turn it on, okay, it gets hardened very fast. So you have to make sure that you have to use them very fast. Basically it is used for filling the gaps. So any type of gap which is there, you can fill using your epoxy putty. So these are self-hardening substances, so they get hardened very fast. So you have to make sure that as soon as you open them, you're using it and you are doing it whatever you want to do. Either you want to stick your model, or either you want to fill some spaces in your model, then you can use them. Next is your Sugro. It is nothing but your moldable silicone rubber. So this is also just like epoxy putty. The but best part of it is it that even if it is in place, like it gets dried up, then also it is flexible, so you can easily shape it. Okay, so it is, that is why called as a moldable glue, wherein you can place the glue over your different edges. Next is your toy construction set. So this is nothing but a Lego, wherein you can just simply join all your small you can say sets together. Your different pieces are joined and you can create a movement or you can create a model. That is your toy construction set. Next is your cardboard. So when I talk about cardboard, it is something a very paper based durable material which is very hard and very thick. So you have to draw or sketch over it, and then accordingly you can just cut it out with your craft or scissors. Just like cardboard, you have a foam core or foam board as well. So when I talk about foam core or foam board, it has some insulating material like a foam between your cardboard. So that is, it is called as foam core or foam board. So it comes with different colors. So if you do want to have multiple colors, your model you have to be colorful, then you can go with this option. It is again same. It is very durable material. It is very hard. So you have to first sketch it out, and using your craft knife or scissors, you can just cut it off. Next is your extruded polystyrene. So when I talk about extruded polystyrene, it is something a colorless, you can say a transparent thermoplastic material. And this is again used like a foam board or your cardboard only, wherein you can design your models. Basically, all the architectural models are designed using this polystyrene. Next is your laser cutter. So whenever you want to cut any heavy material, any durable material like your steel or any material which is very heavy duty, then you are going to use a laser cutter. So it is a non-contact process because you are not having any contact with this material. It is the laser beam and material which are doing the task. So this is your laser cutter, wherein you are going to use lasers or laser beam to cut the material. So it is always referred as a subtractive process because initially you're going to start with lot of material, and slowly gradually your material going to decrease as you're cutting off whatever you don't want. Okay, so there are some laser beams which are there which will be directed towards your material, and with the laser heat, that material is going to melt, or they are going to, you can say, just vaporize, and accordingly you can start designing or you can giving the shape to your material. Okay, so depending on the material, you have to select in that way your laser cutter, because the bed size is very much important to make your material hold, because over your bed your material is going to be hold over it, and then the beam will be there which will be help you to cut the material. So whenever you're selecting a laser cutter, you have to make sure you are making choices on the basis of two things. First is the size of the bed. So size of the bed is one where you're going to place your material. So it is very much important that your bed size has to be big, because more bigger is your bed size, more easy will be for the laser beam to cut the material. Okay. Next is the power of laser. Power of laser, it plays a very important role because it has to cut materials which will be of different type. It can be a steel, it can be material like this. So it is very much important that your laser cutter has to be very much durable enough. So the power of the laser has to be very much good, because you have to cut precisely. Now in the diagram you can see the laser cutter is cutting up steel material. Okay, so basically this laser cutting helps you to cut all the steel logos or any type of logos or any durable material which cannot be cut like this. You need a big laser machine to cut it them. Okay, That's it for the day. In the next lecture, we'll start with the next topic. Thank you, everyone. Any questions, you all can post in the chat box.